project is a 1994 Ford Bronco. This video is number 3 of 4 in the Bronco brake repair series. Video 1 demonstrated the removal and installation of the brake master cylinder and the brake vacuum booster. The second video demonstrated how to replace a wheel cylinder and the removal and reinstallation of drum brakes. This video demonstrates how to replace a front brake line. Key lessons in this video: how to remove and install a fender liner, the brake hose, and how to custom bend and flare a brake line. Special tools used: flare nut tubing wrench, tubing cutter, tubing flaring tool, tubing bender, and a torque wrench from 20 to 100 foot-pounds. Supplies used: a 1/8 inch steel brake line, 40 inches long. Approximate cost, $8. I was attempting to bleed the brakes, but I was not getting air into the hose and the jar. With the bleeder screw closed, I noticed the brakes were not pumping up. I soon discovered fluid dripping on the ground near the new brake booster. I needed to remove the front wheel to get a closer look at the source of the leak. To break the lug nuts free, I grabbed this breaker bar that I invented. It makes the job effortless. When replacing a master cylinder or brake booster in an aged system, it is not uncommon for line failure. The line ruptured in a sharp bend between the frame and the shock tower. As tubing is bent, the heel is stretched, making it thinner and more prone to leakage. With the source of the leak discovered, it's time to begin the removal process. Unclip the anti-lock electrical harness from the brake hose to prevent accidental damage. Remove the banjo bolt from the brake hose and be careful not to lose the copper sealing washers. The brake line would ordinarily be removed from the backside with a flare nut tubing wrench, but rust would not allow the wrench to fit, so I had to improvise. I removed the C-clip from the brake hose. In hindsight, I would use a Dremel tool with a wire wheel to clean up the mating surface of the frame and clip to make it easier to remove. The spring clip cannot be removed unless the brake line is removed or cut because it passes through the clip. The brake hose was clamped in a bench vise, and the remains of the line and flare nut were removed with a ratchet. Now it's time to remove the rest of the brake line. The line is easiest to remove with the fender liner removed. Be prepared. There are different sizes of nuts and bolts, and even types of screws, from hex head and Phillips head. These 2 bolts are tucked away in pockets and are easy to overlook. The easiest way I found to remove the plastic barbed fasteners is to tap them back through the fender liner with a mallet or a small hammer. With all the fasteners removed, a gentle tug is all that's needed to remove the fender liner. A flare nut tubing wrench is the best choice for unscrewing the B-nut from the ABS controller. The brake line is supported with a single plastic clip. After opening the clip with a small screwdriver or scribe, the line can be removed with relative ease. I carefully measured the line with a tape measure following the multiple twists and turns. Be sure to take the original tube to the auto parts store to match the line size and fitting. Do not bend the tube before test fitting the new line to the brake hose and the ABS controller.
I dropped my speeder and headed to the auto parts store. I had to return the brake line to a planet far, far away. While I was there, I asked the question the droid who sold me a different line had his memory erased.
Be prepared, the new line doesn't come bent to shape and may need to have the fittings replaced to match the original sizes. I used a tubing cutter to remove the original undersized fitting. I removed the flared end from the old line with end nippers and slipped off the larger flare nut. I held the nut in vice grips as I cleaned the threads with a wire wheel. I chamfered the end of the tubing with a bench grinder prior to flaring. The chamfered edge of the tube must align with the shoulder of the fitting. Be sure to seat the pointed tip into the divot in the fitting. This fitting will roll the edge of the tube. The cone spreads the tube, forming the flared seat that allows the line to seal. The method I found that works the best: make the initial bend, inspect it against the original, then do a practice run without tubing to see which way the handles are going to fold, then insert the tubing and bend slowly. I tamed the bending operation by clamping it in a bench vise with magnetic jaw cushions that protect the tool from damage. The only challenge after securing the bender is to pay close attention to the bending direction. It's easy to start bending the wrong way. If you don't have a bender, it can be formed using a round object with a little patience. Temporarily install the line at one end and finesse the line by hand to fit the root and the clamping location. I inserted the steel end of the hose through the frame and threaded the tubing into the hose end. I used the bent steel hose as a handle to pull the tube into the proper location and alignment. Install the C-clip on the brake hose bulkhead fitting. The brake line must now be disconnected to install the spring clip. Clip the ABS electrical harness to the brake hose. Install the banjo bolt with one copper washer on each side of the brake hose terminal end. Torque the banjo bolt. Insert the flare nut into the ABS controller, paying close attention not to cross-thread it. Then tighten with a flare nut tubing wrench. Center the fender liner from front to back and press up and in and flex the edge until it snaps into place. Loosely install the large fasteners to clamp the fender liner in place. Then install and tighten the small fasteners, then go back and secure the large fasteners. Press the plastic barbed wiring clips into the holes and install the brackets from inside the engine compartment. Don't forget the fasteners in the rim pockets. The last step is to bleed the brakes. which I will cover in video number 4 of the Bronco Brake Repair series.